friends, thank you for joining me on the channel Jane Reads. My name is Jeanette, and today we are going to talk about the nominees for the Christy Awards for 2025. So for my Christian Fiction Reading Challenge, October's prompt is to read a Christy Award finalist. Now, this does not mean you have to read one of these books for 2025. You can go back previous years and see which other ones have been nominated and have won the award and read any of those. But today I'm going to be talking about the ones for 2025. So the 2025 nominees were announced on September the 19th. I'm a little late doing this because we were away on vacation, but I have waited. Today is the 25th, and I have not looked at the list to see who was what books were nominated. Now, what is the Christy Awards? On the website, it says, the Christy Award celebrates excellence in Christian fiction and honors the value and impact of the novel of faith in contemporary culture. The Christies have been a focal point for the writers and publishers in our community, symbolizing the best aspirations and accomplishments of writers who write from a perspective of faith and who create stories with matters of belief at their core. So I will link the Christy Awards website below. It is just christyawards.com. And so let's pull up. So the nominees, I said, were revealed September the 19th. And the winners are announced November the 7th. So we have all of October to read some of these books. Now, what are they? Let's find out. There is a ton of different categories with usually multiple books in a category, if I remember correctly. As I said, I haven't actually looked at it. I pulled up the main page, but not for the 2025 list. Okay, here we go. So, first category is contemporary romance. And there are 4 books in this category. A Run at Love by Toni Shiloh. The Nature of Love by Toni Shiloh. 2 books by her. And then The Roads We Follow by Nicole Deese. And Who Touches the Mountains by Deborah Rainey. I have not read any of these books. So that could be a possibility for me to read one of these books in October. The only one I really know anything about is A Run at Love by Toni Shiloh. And that is Kentucky Derby kind of based, from what I understand. I have heard about The Roads We Follow by Nicole Deese, but I couldn't tell you anything about it. Okay. First novel. Oh, I own one of these books. Okay, do I? That will be easier than inserting the picture. Okay, so for first novel, there are 3 books, and we've got Dark Fell by Amanda Wright. I know nothing about that book. We have The Yellow Badge by Addison Curson. It looks like it's an indie published. I know nothing about this book either. But then we have Until Our Time Comes by Nicole M. Miller. And this one is World War II, I want to say, set in Poland, featuring rescuing horses. Hence why I'm interested in this book. When her hopes are shattered by war, one woman will risk everything to save those she loves. Yes, World War II. So this is a high possibility for me to read in October because I own the book. Okay, let's go back. Then we have general fiction. Oh, I own another one of these books. Okay. The next one, so there's 4 in this category. And the first one is Between the Sound and Sea by Amanda Cox. This is set in Maine, I'm pretty sure. Or no, no, it's not. North Carolina, North Carolina island. So every family has its secrets. Joey Harris wouldn't mind if her family still had a few of their own after a lawsuit tarnishes their name. When an opportunity opens to become a temporary keeper of a decommissioned lighthouse on a North Carolina island, she takes the opportunity to escape the scrutiny of her small town to oversee its restoration. Soon, Joey discovers strange notes tucked deep in the crevices of the lighthouse old stone walls. Pages torn from a keeper's log recounting harrowing rescues at sea. When things start to go amiss on the island, locals are convinced that it is the ghost of the lighthouse keeper and his daughter who were lost at sea during World War II. As Joey sifts through decades of rumors and legends and puts together the pieces of the past, a love story emerges, one that's clearly not over yet. This is one I am very interested in. I've read a couple of Amanda Cox, but earlier this year I read The Edge of Belonging. I read it in January, and that book just sticks with me, and I just want to read more by her, so that is why I picked this one up. So that's another high possibility for October. Okay, then the other books in the general fiction category are Bitter and Sweet by Rhonda McKnight. I do not know this book. We've got Low Country Lost by T.I. Lowe. I can't tell you anything about this book either, so you'll have to look up some of these books if you're intrigued by the cover. And then we've got The Way Back by Heidi Cheveroli. I have no idea how to say her last name. Here's the cover. Okay, so those are those four. Then we go into historical. Okay, historical. We have 3 books, and we have All We Thought We Knew by Michelle Shockley. I read this book earlier this year again. It was my first book by Michelle Shockley. I absolutely loved it. I loved it that I have added more of her books to my want to read list. And since then I have read one, but I've also bought at least one more. Yeah. This one is it's a dual timeline between the Vietnam War and World War II, I want to say. Yes, I'm pretty sure. And this one includes letters, and we're following a mother and daughter kind of story in a way. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. Okay. Then we have Born of Gilded Mountains by Amanda Dykes. I can't tell you much about it other than Amanda Dykes has a really lyrical, flowery type writing. I've only read one book by her before, but it was not this one. Okay, then The Queen's Cook by Tessa Afshar. I think this is biblical fiction as well as being historical. But I've heard really good praise about it, but I have never read it. Let's move into the next category. Ooh. Okay. We have 4 books in this one. As Sure as the Sea by Jamie Ogle. I can't tell you anything about it. The Elusive Truth of Lily Temple by Joanna Davidson Politano. Can't tell you anything about it. The Seaside Homecoming by Julie Clausen. Can't tell you anything about it. I've actually never read Jamie Ogle or Julie Clausen. Have I? I don't think I've read Julie Clausen. I have read a Juliana Davidson Politano. Again, not this one. Okay, then the 4th book is Walking on Hidden Wings by Rachel Scott McDaniel. I read this one in December. It is 1920s New York, and it's kind of an early marriage. Like, we're following kind of a marriage of convenience, but they actually they loved each other. And they were only married for a short time when the husband supposedly died. And so then Geneva Wow, I actually remember the character's name. Goes in search for answers. Did he die? What was the cause of his accident? Or is he out there somewhere? She goes in search. And every chapter ends on a cliffhanger. And I had to keep reading. Like, I was so invested in this book. This is the book that introduced me to Rachel Scott McDaniel's writing. And I've read one other book by her since, and I've added all her others to my want to read list. And I've picked up a few of them. I just haven't read them yet. But I devoured this book and loved it. We do have little flashbacks to when they first got married, or like kind of getting together to get married. And then we have the present day timeline. I think it's about a 6 to a year separation between the two dates that we're really following. But yeah, Walking on Hidden Wings by Rachel Scott McDaniel. I highly recommend this book. This was a 5-star read for me. Okay, then we move into mystery, suspense, and thriller. Okay, so the first book is The Crown Conspiracy by Connie Mann. I don't know much about this book other than when I first saw the cover when it was released, I added it to my want to read list. I have not read it yet, and I don't even remember what it's about. Like, I know I read the description at the time, which is why I added it. But yeah, it sounded really interesting, and I'm always up for suspense. Okay, then we have Night Falls on Predicament Avenue by Jamie Jo Wright. Haven't read this one. Jamie Jo Wright is just not an author for me, I don't think. Okay, then the third one is Serial Burn by Lynette Eason. This is book 3 of the Lake City Heroes series, and we are following firefighter Jessalyn. Yes. I'm always excited when I remember the characters' names. Who is, well, not a firefighter, fire marshal. I thought she was an investigator. Yeah. She's a fire marshal. And so she is trying to solve the mystery of who set fire to her house when she was younger that killed her family members. And now in present day timeline, so that's what she's doing in present day, but she's trying to find out answers from the past. And then there are fires that are happening that appear to be hate crimes or possibly targeting Jessalyn, and why. And so she has to team up with the FBI to try to solve answers. And in the meantime of looking for answers, we have a romance bloom between Jessalyn and FBI agent. I really enjoyed this book. I'm pretty sure I gave it 4 stars. Yes, I gave it 4 stars, and I said it kept me guessing the whole way through of who the villain was and why. What was their motive? So yes, I recommend this book. Okay, next category. There's 2 more in this category that I hadn't noticed. Okay, we've got Shattered Sanctuary by Nancy Mel. I think this is part of a series, but I don't really know. So, and then we have Terminal Danger by Jerusa Agan. I don't know how to say her last name. I own a book by her that's on my TBR, but I've never read her, so I don't know. Don't know anything about this book either. Okay. So, in short form, so these are novellas, we have all three stories from the Something Borrowed collection are nominated. So A Daffodil in the Dress by Susie Finkbeiner. A Heart in Disguise by Rachel Scott McDaniel. Ooh. A Letter to Eli by Allison Pittman. I might need to pick up this collection. So all 3 of the stories that are in this collection are nominated. That is very unusual, but that's kind of cool. I have no idea what these stories are about. It looks like it's probably going to be historical. And I mean, Rachel Scott McDaniel writes historical. Susie Finkbeiner, I think, writes historical. And I don't know Alison Pittman's writing. So, yeah. But, I mean, it's got a wedding dress on the cover. It's talking about something borrowed. So I'm guessing there's going to be a romance in it. I don't know. Then we've got Forgiving the Cowboy by Tabitha Boldlin. I don't know. It is a love-inspired. Yeah, just a love-inspired. I thought it said something else, but problem with the small screen. Yeah, so it looks like a cowboy. I mean, Forgiving the Cowboy. It's a cowboy romance. Yeah. Okay. Speculative. Now, this is not a category that I read, but I will tell you what books are nominated. So we got A Slice or Sky by Nancy Moser, Darkfell by Amanda Wright, Memora by J.J. Fisher, and Protector by Megan Shawless. I could have butchered some of those names, some of those titles, I don't know. But if you're interested in speculative, look up these books. Okay, then we have Young Adult. Again, not a category I read, but I will tell you what books they are. So we've got Ben Washington is the Newbie on the Block. That is a really interesting cover. Okay, then we have Chaos Grid by Lindsay Llewellyn. Echo Nova by Clint Hall. And Jake Rogers' Planet by Philip Wilder. And that is all the nominees. So those are all the categories. So out of those, I own 2 that I recommend to you. I don't think there was any that I read that I didn't own physically. I don't think so. Let me take a quick peek back. Oh, yes. All We Thought We Knew by Michelle Shockley. That's another one that I would recommend. So 3 of them I have read, and I would recommend you adding to your list. So that is All We Thought We Knew by Michelle Shockley, Walking on Hidden Wings by Rachel Scott McDaniel, and Serial Burn by Lynette Eason. Now, the 2 that are on my list, are high on my list because I own them physically, I want to read them, are Between the Sound and Sea by Amanda Cox and Until Our Time Comes by Nicole M. Miller. Now, can I read both of these in October? Will I read both of these in October? I don't know yet. I got to figure out what I'm reading for October yet. So we will see. Have you read any of the ones that I have not read, and would you recommend them? Are you surprised at some of the ones that were nominated? And yeah, let's just chat about the Christy Awards nominees and who have made the finalist list. I will come back. When did I say it was? November. When did I say they're going to be announced? November 7th, the winners will be announced. So I will try to do a video to talk about who the winners are and kind of if I've read the winner book. I have not read one book in every category, obviously. And I don't think I will get to reading one book in every category because, I mean, there's 2 categories that I don't really read. But we'll see. I'm also very interested in that Something Borrowed collection now because all 3 books have been, or novellas have been nominated. But I'm not a huge novella fan, so we'll see what happens. So that is everything for today. I want to thank you for taking the time to watch this video today, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.